Design is an iterative process and you're always trying to improve. To help you get just that little bit better, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can do right now to help you improve with your design. This is applicable to any type of design, whether it's web design, app design, logo design, even physical design like product design and furniture design, things like that. This is applicable to absolutely anything. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Arnau. I'm a designer, and on this channel, we like to explore strategies and tools that help you become a better designer as well. So the first thing we need to keep in mind is not considering your context. So what does that actually mean? It means not designing for where your design is going to be seen, whether that's on a billboard, a really small logo like a favicon, or just on a plane, on a building, something like that. You need to keep in mind where your design is actually going to be seen. And for that, you need to remember that when you're designing, you want your design to be applicable to all the right contexts. For example, if you're designing a logo and you make it super intricate, then it won't really be able to be seen in super small formats. Now, one example of this that was recently done is the logo for the White House. And I think they can get away with it because they're the White House, so they can pretty much do anything they want. But for everyone else, if you're not the White House, then you need to remember to make sure that your designs are scalable and can fit in the right context. That being said, that leads us on to our next topic, which is insufficient research. You need to remember that whenever you're doing a new design for either it's a client or for your own projects, you need to do the right amount of research. So say you're doing UI design for a new medical website or something like that. There are tons and tons of examples out there that you can take inspiration from. And by failing to look at those examples and getting that inspiration for yourself, your design won't be up to par on the websites that already exist. Another example of this that a lot of people suffer with is when they're doing logos for clients or for their own companies, and they don't actually do enough research into seeing if their logo already exists. This is a bigger issue as more people start designing their own projects and their own logos, and people start kind of stepping on each other's toes when they start doing really simple logos. So you need to remember that every time you do research, you need to look into all the Dribbble, all the Pinterest, Instagram, Behance, all those accounts, and actually see what's been done, who's done it, how good is it, what's good about it, what's bad about it. Make a list if you want to, but you need to consider everything that's already been done, because at the end of the day, your design will be compared to everything that already exists out there. The next thing to keep in mind is to not overload your portfolio. If you have a portfolio on your website, it's one thing, but if you have it on a Behance, it's a completely different subject. So on this, we're gonna focus on just websites. So if you're uploading your portfolio to a website like I've done, then you need to remember to only showcase the best work that you've done. The reason being is that if a client sees your website and sees some kind of crappy work that you've done, that's not really going to impress them, and there's no point to it. So why even have it? Even though you're proud of it, it doesn't really have an outcome. So you want to make sure that the projects that you have there are actually for a reason. One way of thinking about this is that I only have a single project for a single topic. So if I want to focus on a really good UI design that I did, then I'll showcase that. If I want to showcase some really good logos, then I have a section just for that. But I don't overload it with 30 different projects. I have at most 3 to 5 projects, maybe 6 if it's really good, but most of the time it probably won't be. So if you're thinking about your own portfolio and if you're wondering if you have some that you need to delete, ask yourself if it really should be there and if it is the best work that you can produce. The fourth tip is giving your clients too many options. Now, I specifically mean this if you're doing a presentation for a client and it's kind of the final work. I don't really mean it if you're in the middle of a project and you're kind of just scoping out ideas. If you finalize a project and you're down to 3 to 4 to 5 different options, make sure that you pick 1 or 2 max, and that's what you present to your client. You don't want to give them 30 options or all the options that you've done, because it makes you look like you aren't actually proud of the work that you've done, or that you aren't really sure of the work that you've done, so you're not really secure with the actual work that you put out there. However, if you're in the middle of a call with a client, like in the middle of a project, and you're kind of going over everything, then make sure that you do show them everything and you explain your thinking from point A to point B, and you kind of show that roadmap that you went through. The last tip that I would give is to not trust too much in what already exists. Now, this kind of contradicts my second tip, which was that make sure that you do the right research and you see what's out there, what works, what doesn't, the good and the bad. This is more like, if you can, go out of your comfort zone and see new trends, new ways of UI design, new ways of logo design, and try to do that if you can. Now, sometimes you see designs on Dribbble and on Behance and Pinterest and things like that, and it's hard to not get inspired, but this is more like try to get out of your comfort zone and design some things that you haven't done before. If you guys want to see my latest video where I go over some UI trends, then make sure that you click this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.